Another All Out Club podcast, joined with just Cooper today. But we move.
Bit different, mate, but what is not different is this Australian test side. It is exactly the same, or what we had thought it might have been after the squad released. I think there's a few lucky people. If I'm not gonna point them out, Mick, but Carey definitely lucky.
Is he a contributor?
Look, he's a cat with 9 lives at the moment, Alex Carey, and good to see. Well, let's be honest. David Warner was never getting dropped.
No, I don't think anyone should be surprised by that. I think Green, that's the big talking point.
Yeah, I mean, Marsh has definitely earned his spot from the Ashes. I mean, like
It was literally impossible to leave out.
you couldn't leave him out after his performance over in England, and like all these headlines, et cetera, for Warner. There's no way he's not going to get picked. Like
No.
He was getting picked from day dot. He was getting his farewell test.
He did get, if you think about it, he did get batter of the series last summer.
Yeah,
Even though he only got 1-200 and nothing else. But we know he's a flat track bully.
he was never not getting picked. And look, if you look down the order again, it's just talent across the board. I actually said in the group chat, like, we shouldn't be underestimating Pakistan.
Mate, they were so bad when they came in.
I know, but they've definitely improved. They've improved.
But they haven't proved. Their bowlers have gotten more experience.
And let's not say anything about this Prime Minister's game, because it was an absolute, like, what are we wasting our time for? You know, like,
that was one of the worst fixtures I've ever.
It was
watched.
the most boring fucking fixture of all time. Like,
the only highlight of the last time Pakistan toured was Yasir Shah getting 100. When the fuck is that going to happen again?
Like, we produce a wicket for a bat off, and we decide, let's just do a flat track to see who gets the spot after Warner. Like,
what I've decided in Australian cricket, all the spectators want, for BBL especially, is Rhodes, and for Test matches, a nice even wicket, bit of green on top, nice even.
Speaking of Monica, I don't want to get too sidetracked from the Test team here, but that Monica wicket last night for the Heat and the Thunder was atrocious. Like, how can you get the fans engaged?
Even the outfield, so slow.
How can you get fans engaged coming back to the BBL when you're producing wickets that are turning and as slow as fucking Buddha run rate? Like,
commentators got to hold the curators accountable as well. It's at some point it's got to be there.
Well, speaking about curating, the Big Bash game in Geelong got called off, and that was
been a comedic start to the BBL.
It actually has been a comedic start. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Like, it was atrocious.
I've said this before. It's either a great game, great spectacle, or it's shit and it's a comedy and you laugh. So it's a win-win, really.
And I released something on TikTok before, but like the memes out of the BBL season already, we've had 4 games. We've had the emergence of Walter. We've had the pitch being awful. We've had a rain out. We've had... What else have we had? We've had so much. We've had Rocket Man return. We've had...
Majib, just fine leg merchant.
Fine leg merchant. There's too many. There's too many. Will Sutherland's back. He's eating.
Arrival.
Serious arrival. So yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Tall Paul's a highlight.
Tall Paul, yeah. Like he needs bigger trousers.
Even just the Heat in general. I really like the squad.
Well, I saw a stat that that's the first time the Heat have ever won their first game in 13 seasons. So the Heat fans are always...
Usually we start shit.
I think we're peaking too early. I think we're peaking way too early.
We're going to do the opposite.
Anyway, back to the Test team here. I've got down here as a note, and obviously Warner gone after the 3rd Test. Who opens then? That's been the question of the summer. Why is there no news, Mick, about just why can't Travis Head open? Seriously, he's done it for the ODI team. Yeah. He is a like-for-like replacement from David Warner. He's just going to go out there and get a run-a-ball century anyway. Why are we just not picking him, then pick Green at 6? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Look, I said this for the Ashes. I can't see why they don't do that. Like, obviously Warner, he wants his little finish up on a nice note. But Head plays the exact same way. We know he's electric. He's open for the ODI team. I can't see him not doing a job next to Khawaja, who can bat a bit slower.
It's a like-for-like replacement, and I don't understand why it's not getting any news headlines at all.
It also lets Green come into the team.
Yeah. So. Like, do we really want an opening batsman that we're kind of iffy about, or do we want to put all our eggs in one basket and just continue to build Cam Green? That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Maybe their worry is Head's going so well in that spot. Do they want to risk that?
Yeah.
I'd rather just risk it and see how it goes.
I think Head's good enough now. If he fails at opener, they'll just move him back.
Yeah.
So,
True.
do you have any bold predictions for the summer at all? Like, we obviously got Pakistan and West Indies. It's not the greatest of
I don't
opposition.
even know if this is a bold prediction, but I don't think we lose a game.
Just 5-0.
And I think Travis Head, my Head, I love Head. I can I could see him averaging 65 plus
for the summer.
Yeah.
Like I said in previous podcasts, it's truly just a series to get averages up. Like,
and I think this is where Smudge goes back over 60.
Yeah. Honestly, it could be. My bold prediction is, and it's hard to say something bold anyway because you just don't know what Pakistan and West Indies are going to give you. I'm going to say Babar Azam has the highest average of the series of the summer.
Of the summer.
Of the summer.
Out of everyone.
Yeah.
Look, he would have to carry. I don't mind Al Huck. He's pretty good, but yeah.
Look, I'm just trying to be bold because, like, we could say something about Smith getting 100, Babar Azam technically is one of the best players in world cricket. And
I think you'd say he has the best technique in the world.
And if you think about the pitches that are going to produce, it's going to be probably flat. It might move early. It's going to be flat wickets, especially in Perth, you would think.
Yeah, I just think this concern is how many batters come to Australia and just don't perform, especially like the top tier ones, like Root struggles.
Yeah,
Virat's good, obviously. Kane Williamson struggles.
Root, I think there's a stat for Root. Has he got like 200s in Australia? Like the whole
he
time?
might have one, like maybe. I don't even know if he has.
You wouldn't expect that from him, like on a track that is notoriously known for being flat.
Yeah.
So, look, that's my bold prediction. Lions obviously on track for 500. Where do you see him pulling up stumps? Because he said that he's got a lot of Test cricket left in him. 498 wickets at the moment.
The thing with Lyon is, like, Warney had a few injuries with his shoulders. Other spinners have had injuries. He hasn't done anything apart from what did he do in the Ashes?
He did his groin or something like that, right?
Yeah, so I think he just retires when he wants to stop. I can't see us dropping him. We thought his form was shoddy, but he picked it up a bit in the Ashes.
Yeah, he did. 498 wickets for a dinky off spinner that's never had a variation at all is. It's like you gotta tilt the hat to him. It's pretty impressive.
I think he's a good bowler, but if it was a different era in Australian cricket, he would struggle to make the team.
Speaking about struggling to make the team, Michael Nessa, cult hero, he has to be. I'm going to say he is the most unlucky Australian cricketer of all time. And I'm like talking Andy Bickle, 12th man, whatever. He has got to be the unluckiest. He is one of the greatest athletes, I reckon, in Australian cricket at the moment. Can bowl, can bat, can field.
I agree. Look, our bowling attack is just that special where he simply just can't get a run. Like, who you taking out?
Well, this is the problem. You now have... He played in the test against England in Adelaide, where he got 2 for, and then under lights against England in the Ashes. And then he has just abandoned from Australian cricket again. And now we decide to pick Lance Morris, who, with all due respect, hasn't done much.
Yeah, it'd be good to get Lance a debut, but I think Nisa deserves...
he deserves
he deserves a good crack.
Yeah.
And actually, it's a good talking point to the most unlucky players not to, stay in the test team. Brad Hodge got a 200 and then got dropped.
Yeah.
So,
and we mentioned Bickle. He got how many times was he 12th man? Would it be
tons. There were so many cricketers during that time. Like Darren Lehmann, I think, has the most runs in first grade cricket ever.
And Swepo's been around the Australian setup for ages now. Probably 6-7 years.
I've got a mind blank, but who's the Aussie batter who got, I think, 100 against Sri Lanka and then got dropped?
Patterson.
Yeah. What's he averaging?
Yeah.
Test cricket 70.
Yeah, and he's done. There's look, it's a tough gig. You're not the middle order. You're not going to drop Marnus Smith or.
Oh, if Nisa was playing for Sri Lanka, he'd be 500 wickets in.
Yeah, he's a star, and I'm happy to have him as the most unlucky cricketer.
How about that catch last night?
Special catch. He just moves well, and he moved non-dominant side. I think
he's not even a big mover. He's a genuine mover.
His action's quite in your face. You know what I mean? He just runs up and then just bang, you're there. And it's a bit like once the ball stops swinging, what's he going to offer? You know what I mean? He doesn't really reverse the ball. We haven't really seen that.
Bit of deviation,
but yeah. That's a test team. No real surprises at all on that behalf. I got a question for you though, mate. We obviously when the summer comes around, we think of cricket, and when I thought of cricket as a youngster, we obviously thought about the Channel 9 intro, Wild World of Sports.
Classic.
My question to you, has the sound of summer changed from the Wild World of Sports intro to the Fox Cricket intro? And we'll have them both playing. It's a great question because now when I think of Fox Cricket and that sound, I'm just like, the summer is here. I'm thinking 4X at the Gabba. I'm
still thinking of that classic Worldwide of Sports. Dun, 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 but the Ashes music from, I think, 2019 when Smudge was back. Wow.
Yeah, it was special.
We'll get it up. It
was
was a serious
special.
tune.
It is a tune. It runs in my head every now and then.
Look, if we're both quite young, if you're asking anyone over age of 30, it's unanimous.
It is.
For the Wild World of Sports.
But I'm just saying, like, the youngsters of these days have got a tune. They've got a tune.
Look, they haven't disappointed.
But
Although
also,
the Fox commentary,
it's actually special.
it is special, but they're getting Warner in.
Yeah, like, it's probably what would we say? It is probably a tactical decision because if he went to 7, he's going to say something rogue for the ratings or something like that. I reckon. And
Yeah, he's definitely polarizing the stuff he says.
like,
Look, 7, I don't mind 7 just because of the fact they have the best commentator in the world in Ricky Ponting.
yeah, well, the great predictor himself.
Yeah. Silky's made a career off of actually, Silky's good, but it definitely helped his career, Punty, saying he's the best fielder in Australia.
Oh,
clip went
absolutely.
viral.
Yeah. The Fox Cricket commentary team, and we won't spend it that much on it all, but it is actually a special lineup. Like, you got Gilly, Kerry O'Keefe, the last Junior, Isha
Brendan
Gua,
Julian's a bit boring.
Brendan Julian, he's all right. Brett Lee, I'm sure we're missing so many. And then we got the overseas blokes like Ian Smith,
Ian Smith's great.
Wasn't Macrum's now there. Ravi Strastri is now there. So
Yeah.
Harsha Bogle comes in every now and then. So
Great voice, Harsha.
it's obviously a stacked lineup. And look, I'm looking forward to it, man.
What about the lineup of Matty Hayden and Shane Watson for the ODI World Cup?
The big DOS.
we should get that clip as a. We should just repost the Shane Watson's looking at a white cricket ball on the back of a.
Oh my god!
On a black mesh and thinking it was the moon.
Is that the biggest howler of all time? Like in the commentary box?
Who was commentating with him? And they hear, "Look at the beauty of this earth that we live on," and it's a cricket ball.
It's just cricket ball. The only other howler that I can think of is when Mark Nicholas jinxed Warner in the 90s, and Warnie's reacting. That's another bad one.
That's definitely up there.
What's another bad one? There'd be many. There'd be so many.
There'd be tons.
There's one.
Michael Clark in commentary just saying, to any young boys and girls listening, mate, stop saying it. Oh.
There's too many. There was one. I forgot who it was, but he just repeated the same word the whole time. Not Chad Townsend, but
I'm a big Chad Townsend guy.
That's a funny clip, actually. There's been some good ones. Anyway, mate, we touched on the BBL, saying that it's the gift that keeps on giving. Are the Heat the real deal this year, honestly?
Look, the way their bowling attack has been playing, it's very impressive. Sweppo is in arguably career best.
Mate, big tall Paul Walter, he was special last night.
He's elite. Nisa. Koonman is very underrated.
He is very underrated. Like, if he worked on his craft, I think he has to spin the ball a bit more. He's very just like straight on. He could be an elite fucking bowler for Australia.
Oh yeah, well he's made his debut,
especially in the short form game.
He's made his debut for the Test team. So.
Yeah.
Look, back to Sweppo. Good friend of the podcast. Not sure he follows. Good friend of On the Drift. Good friend of us. He's bowling really well. The batting lineups got good depth.
I'll tell you what it is. We are what you would say a team that was ass 6 years ago that's kept the same core group, and now we've just got way more experience.
Look, we used to have very top tier players, but no depth. We only got a lot of depth and no real top tier.
I agree.
Like the fact that Big Maxi Bryant isn't a shoe-in for the team is a great sign.
Yeah.
It's a great sign. The fact that he's just not like, we're going to have to pick him. I think Brownie needs to really assert himself.
Well, mate, there's obviously so much potential with him. So much potential.
Yeah.
Like, he just whacked 2 sixes off his pads.
Brownie needs? He needs the big Sean Tate the Wild thing, just bowling 160 clicks right in the slot.
Josh Brown needs a viral moment where, like, it's undroppable because he's just such good marketing.
Yeah,
You know, like Lenny back in 2016 hit Tatey out of the ground. He then became marketable.
Yeah.
So,
one thing with Brownie, look, this is just a suggestion. Every time he gets out, he hits the ball. He looks at his bat. Really not good marketing for your bats. He's looking at it, he's like, fuck. I really got to use a kookaburra here or something.
Should have pulled out the KD.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But yeah, the 80 going unreal. And like I said, the BBL is just a gift that keeps on giving. And we haven't even, the Heat's played 3 games. I don't think the Strikers have even played a game yet. So,
haven't they?
nah, because they got the washout.
It's been a weird start.
Very weird. And now we have a 5-day break or so before like the BBL hits back up.
How many regular season games for each team?
10. So, yeah. I think that's a good idea.
He'd only need to really win like 3 more games.
Yeah, we're chilling. We are chilling. Mate, moving on though, the NRL fantasy, that's what we're known for, I guess. Number 1 for a couple of weeks there. Remember that?
We have earnings.
We do have earnings. NRL fantasy prices, a few of them's been released. A few interesting ones as well. Obviously, some decent looking players here that
RTS.
Yeah, RTS. So RTS, Bronson Xerri. Is it Xerri? Sherry?
Bronson Xerri, I'd say.
Xerri? Like,
who really cares?
Who's going to care? KP and Curran's prices have all been released, and by the looks of the comments section, I think there's some happy campers and there's not. We'll go through them one by one, mate. RTS for 619k. Obviously had a quick stint in New Zealand rugby. Average 46.5 in 2021. First year back, he's probably overs.
I think it is a bit of overs. I think he might be playing centre as well.
Yeah.
So if he maybe moves to fullback, if CNK is injured, that's a great deal because if you get in a dual position centre, he's playing fullback.
Oh, absolutely.
Tar, and a former Dally M winner.
So, yeah, it probably is a bit overs there for RTS. But this one, Bronson Xerri, 450k, obviously got done for doping in 2019.
He's a big doper guy.
He's a big doper guy. 450k, average 40.4 in the centres in 2019. He seems quite a good price at centre, and you obviously don't want to load on your centre position that early in the season. What are your thoughts there, mate?
Yeah, it's not a bad price. It's just the centre spot, as I said, you'd rather just try and get like a gun cheapie.
Yeah.
Who's scoring well, but if Xerri can sort of replicate the way he used to play, it's just, does he get picked for the Dogs team straight away?
You'd think so.
So, yeah. So, maybe.
Another Dogs player is Curran, who's come over from the
Joshy Curran.
From the Warriors. I was about to say Ben Curran. Who the hell is Ben Curran? Josh Curran looks a great price at 501k. I think there's been a bit of news saying that he might play lock and a lot of minutes at lock, but at second row this year when he's played over 70 minutes, he's averaged 55.8. So he could definitely be a play at 501k there. I've definitely spent more at the start of the season for someone. So
I think that's a great play. Shout out to Curran, the infamous clip of him falling over and hitting a sanitized machine live. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Josh Curran. Josh Curran.
Is he okay? I don't think he is, Yvonne. Yeah, 501k. I think I predicted last year that he was like going to be a genuine gun, but he just never got picked for some reason. They picked Niokura.
I reckon if he gets the opportunity this year at Dogs, he's going to be 750k player for sure.
I think he's a genuine must-have mid-range player.
Absolutely.
If he's starting, that's for sure.
And the last one that they've released is Kalen Ponga, Dalian medalist winner.
Why?
757k. Look, he averaged 51.5k in 2023. I'm saying that's overs purely because he is sort of a one-play merchant to get all his points, and he's let me down more times than he hasn't. So I'm going to pass on him probably at the start of the season because I think Tommy T and Tedesco are going to be less than that as well.
I think I'm going to buy. This is very early, obviously, but I think the Knights are going to be good straight away. Last year they were shit, and so was Ponga straight away. And that's sort of, if you're looking at his end-of-season stats, you'd almost expect him to be a 900k player. So, look, 757k, and also, I'd say Kalen Ponga, probably the most entertaining player in the comp.
I reckon the Knights are the most entertaining team when they're on, so
even if he doesn't perform up to that price tag, like, who cares?
Yeah, who really cares? You also got to factor in something that changed the competition last year for fantasy listeners of the pod, that the buy schedule is also a factor that we have to put in now. Like, it was so annoying last year, like at certain times. And I'll go quickly around who has the buy at when. So the West Tigers have the round 1 buy. And if you have a West Tigers player at the moment, like in your team at the moment, like when it comes out, you're doing something wrong.
If you've already made your team, that's a bit concerning. You're very keen. If you have a Tigers player, and then that's even more concerning.
That's even more concerning. They the West Tigers, and I remember Dagger, friend of the podcast, we were out for dinner, and he showed me the board and that guy that was singing. Were you there? Like there'll be a photo when we clip this. They are clowns, absolute clowns.
They're clowns. I think we put out a post about the whole board getting the sack or resigning, CEO resigning, and then the bloke with the glasses. I think that's who we're talking about.
Yeah, the long haired dude that can sing in the band.
Yeah. Joke of an organisation. I think
it's
they've
in
lost
dire
their
straits.
sponsor as well because the chairman's now stood down. Who's their main sponsor? He's Bryden Lawyers. So they're in the mud.
What is a pass mark for the West Tigers this year?
Honestly, I think Benji is going to really struggle.
He's going to struggle.
I think he might shed tears in a post-match interview.
We need
Hot
Tales
take.
of Targaland back just to
Yeah.
see Benji
I
cry.
think they need Madge back. They need Madge fucking roasting him.
They-
Look, Benji's going to struggle. Rookie coach, probably the worst lineup in the comp.
Yeah.
Or the Dragons.
Yeah.
I think if they don't get the spoon, that's a A.
Yeah.
That's how bad they're going to be.
Yeah.
You never know.
You do never know.
Maybe Jaden O'Sullivan has a blinder, and I don't even know who else is in the team.
Well, they've lost Brooksy. How are they going to perform without Brooksy?
Buller's gun.
Buller is a gun.
I don't know how he didn't get Rookie of the Year.
Who got it?
Taruba.
Ah.
Bit of bias.
Yeah, a bit of
Wooden
recency
spoon
bias.
versus premiers.
Anyway, back to the bye schedule here. I remember last year that the bye schedule was a bit interrupted because Manly had the bye in like round 4 and Penrith had the bye in round 3. So everyone was like, do I buy Cleary? Do I buy Cleary? This year, the bye is obviously the Tigers, then Gold Coast have the round 2 bye, then the Finns. So if you think about that, David Fafita is probably the only one that you're probably going to be interrupted there from the Titans. And then the Dolphins, there's probably a couple of sleepers there that you could probably get. Round 4 bye is the Storm.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Well, do you wait for Harry Grant? Do you wait for Munster for the bye? Or do you just go
It's an
full in?
interesting one because like they could be a point of difference. Like remember Nico Hines was, I think, injured for the first couple of weeks. It's the same logic.
Yeah.
If people bought him in straight away, they would have gained a lot of rankings because he just went bang straight away.
So the Broncos first bye, they always get the late bye for some reason. They've got round 13. Penrith have a round 6 bye. So obviously you're getting Cleary in at the start.
Yeah.
And then Rabbits round 7. There'll be some players there. Sharks have got the where are they? Cronulla. Sharks have where are they?
Look, Nico Hines.
Round 5. So there's another one that's you gotta.
Nico Hines surely is a must-have. Same as Cleary.
Oh, look, I don't even know if you can get into the
That's
thing
even
yet.
fucking possible.
If I reckon, didn't you get a DM a couple of weeks ago, like a
We
month ago,
always get
saying
DMs like, when
when
we
can
make
you
a
start?
team? I'm like, whoa.
fellas, we're in
I'd be waiting
December.
until maybe 2 days before the season
We're in
starts.
December. The NRL fans are giving blue balls right now of releasing these prices.
Oh, yeah. Look, every single year, everyone makes their team, they set it, they switch it like 1,000 times, and the first tier team comes out and like, oh, fuck. They just completely change the whole thing. So you might as well just wait until the first tier team.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. I remember that happened for Josh Curran last year. Didn't even get the start.
Hard car the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
More news, mate. The AFB, he's going to be one rich man soon. He's the who released the contract? Was it
The
Manly?
Dragons, I think.
Dragons,
it was
yeah.
4 years.
4.5 or so.
4.5. A lot of money for a prop.
That's
but
more than half.
what I'm thinking with the Dragons, they simply need one star.
They just
Like our best player is Hunt. He's very old. He wants to leave. Lomax. We just need someone who's a gun.
according to the Dragons TikTok, and in preseason, what's his name? Flanagan took them to a golf course, and Ben Hunt was looking like he was having a great time. So he could be back.
Yeah,
Maybe Flano's worked his street, mate. He's
I
worked
rate
his magic.
Flano. He's attracting talent. Look, if we got Joey Manu, I think I'd come. But I can't see it happening. But if Flano, I do trust to get a big fish. So
Yeah. Another one that was in the news, mate. New Zealand All Black Caleb Clark, and he hasn't been playing for the All Blacks for a while, but Caleb Clark, when he did, terrorised the Wallabies
Mate,
for so long. He's been spotted at South Sydney training park down at Redfern.
yeah. So I was watching an interview after that South Sydney training, and he was just frothing rugby league. He was basically saying, if Inglis calls me, he'll say yes, and how much for a league contract. And you can't tell me Caleb Clark wouldn't terrorise on the wing.
He'd be so good.
He's
You could
like
even play him at
like a
centre.
To'o.
You could even play him at centre. Like, why not?
Oh yeah, if he's like a To'o but way bigger.
And probably more athletic. Like that.
Yeah.
That's saying something as well.
I genuinely think he'd be an absolute star. So, like, I don't know why teams aren't just going, all right, mate, here's the amount of money we want to give you. I think more players, especially All Blacks players, are willing to do that because,
Oh, there'd be so many, especially if the salary cap thing is true.
yeah,
Like-
like we saw, I don't know if it was who was it? It was one of the Barretts. Was it Geordie?
I think it was Geordie, yeah.
Geordie was training with the Storm, and he also said he froths it. It's just a matter of like what the contract is, how many
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But I think NRL teams are like, oh.
There's
do we
also
wanna risk
not
that
a lot
much?
of money involved in Australian New Zealand rugby, and that's why like Bowden Barrett's fucked off to Japan.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
he's like, I can get. Why would I play for here in this comp when I'm getting paid 6 times the amount in Japan and I can still play for the All Blacks?
it's
what I
also
mean?
just like it's a career move where you're trying to test like your competitive capability. If you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
like the Barretts, Caleb Clark, you're going, look, how much can I actually do in rugby union? I want to test myself. I want to go to league. I want to try a different sport.
Normally it's the other way. You don't really see union athletes
and I
coming to
don't
league.
get why that.
I don't get that either. It's a simple game. It's pretty much the exact same. There's more fitness to it, I think. But then again, you're not getting up every single play. If you're in a rugby field and you're in the middle of the pack the whole time, you are getting up off the ground every single play, pretty much.
It is. I'd definitely say league's more physical, just because you're going 10 meters back. It's just the constant same motion.
Like if you think of the players that have gone from like rugby league to union, you think of Sailor, Israel Folau, Carmichael Hunt,
Brad Thorne's the most impressive.
Brad Thorne. That's an impressive one. There'd be so many more. Parisi has another name. That you think of the players that have gone from union to league and have actually succeeded. There's like none. You can't name one.
I think Marky Mark.
Like Marky Mark.
I think he could go well, but like, did Brad Thorne start in union then go to league? He was at the Broncos obviously, and he won a comp there. But I feel like he might have played union before.
Well, it's like a lot of these league players. Like Peter Volandi's coming out saying you're stealing our players' blood. They played union and played in the top tier union schools before they went to league. Like
there'd be so many.
Oh my
There'd
God.
be so many.
And I don't want to say his name because he doesn't deserve clout. But a certain TikToker person said, "Oh, you stole Joseph Sawali, one of our league players, to union. Blood, he
Blended.
played union in school the whole time. You poached him first."
He also explicitly said he likes union more.
yeah, like
Even grade 12 of school.
you can't tell me now and say Sawali is not going Sawali is not going to go. Sorry, Sawali is going to go for the bag and just return like in 4 years' time.
Yeah.
You can't tell me he's not going to do that.
Look,
So,
our podcast is a bit different because there'd be a lot of ones where League Central only care about league, union. We actually like both sports. We appreciate both sports.
Yeah.
You can sort of see, like union's a great sport.
no, it's great. Yeah, it's
And like,
when
don't be surprised when people go to union.
when it's played at its best. Union is like
Yeah.
way better than league.
It's just
I
the
reckon.
problem is Australian union is a bit of a joke.
At the moment. It is. Yeah,
That's the problem.
at the moment.
It's not the game, although the refs are really starting to ruin it.
Yeah. Well, I think we might leave it there, mate. It's been an entertaining podcast. Bit of fantasy.
Bit of everything.
Good to see fantasy
I
prices
love
are
talking
back.
about fantasy.
Remember the days where we just talked about fantasy the whole podcast and we had
We'll just go straight in.
Yeah.
All right, here's your buys of
Yeah.
the week.
Maybe people want that. Tell us if you want that. We could do that again.
Chuck it in the comments.
Yeah.
We're not getting any.
All right, we'll leave it there. See you later.
So.